All right.
Welcome back to the Omnibuds Café. My name's Kevin.
And my name's Brian. And today we're going to be doing our top 10 most requested DC Omnis. So let's get this show on the road.
All right, welcome back. So top 10 most wanted. I got to thank you before we even get started, Brian, because you have kind of forced me to read more DC. I know I've pushed some more Marvel on your end, but I've bought so much DC recently. I was really excited for this poll. So I've got a solid list. It's heavy Batman. I'll spoiler it. And I did make a mistake, and I'll let you know when we get to it.
Okay.
So let's just start from 10 and go on down. We'll add some honorable mentions. So I've got my list right here. You ready to go?
Got mine. I'm ready to go.
All right. So my number 10 was Batman Road to War Games. So you can kind of see him over here. So I think Road to War Games would fill the gap entirely from Murderer Fugitive to War Games. And I love gap fillers. It's not an event or anything. It's just kind of the missing issues there.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. We all need gap fillers. We all need them. Go on there.
All right. What's your number 10?
My number 10 is actually going to you, my friend. This is Batman Contagion Legacy Aftermath.
Ooh, you donated one to me.
I did. Yes, I did.
Well, thank you very much. That is on my list later, but my number 9, I donated to you.
Okay.
Can you guess what it is?
I have to guess it has to do with a certain Scarlet Speedster.
It has to do with a certain Scarlet Speedster. It's Flash by William Mesner Loebs, Volume 2. I know that's a huge, if you have that, you've got from Mesner Loebs 1 through what?
Through all the way, we would have all the way to Post Johns. Basically, we would have everything from 1985 to 2005.
That's a massive run. Well, I donated that vote to you. What's your number 9?
So much. And thank you for helping the cause. All right. Your number 8, sir?
No, you're number 9. Did you? You didn't
9.
I don't think you did yours.
Nope, I did not. All right. So my number 9 and number 8 are kind of similar, but my number 9 is the Superman New 52 Action Comics. That was where I basically started reading comics, was New 52, and Superman. I started reading Superman throughout that time, so I kind of wanted more for nostalgia's sake.
Nice. Who wrote that one?
For that one, because this would be after the Morrison run, so it would be Greg Pak.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Of Hulk fame.
Yes.
All right, my number 8 is Resurrection Man by Abnett and Lanning. Now, I just read this Resurrection Man by Ram V, and it was my first. I've never read the character at all. My buddy Low Heat from the cafe recommended it to me, and it was awesome. So Abnett Lanning, who had a huge hand in Guardians of the Galaxy and the Space Saga, and I don't know anything about this run from 1986, 7, 8 ish. They created the character Resurrection Man. And everyone loves everything that Abnett Lanning has done. I've never read any of it, but I thought that'd be a cool omnibus. I'd buy that. So that's my number 8.
I definitely would buy that too. I never read any of that stuff myself either. I never read a Resurrection Man.
You should get this trade paperback. It's very Alan Moore. It's very deep and really cool.
Okay, so kind of like in that Swamp Thing territory.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So you're 8?
My 8. Okay.
I'll keep you on track. Don't worry. I'm putting check marks on mine so we don't get lost.
All right. My number 8, again, still in that same era. So number 8 is New 52 Superman. So just the main Superman title.
Nice.
Which was written by a bunch of people. It was written by Perez, Dan Jurgens, and then Scott Lobdell was on it for a good while. Then Johns came on. A lot of people wrote that.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's crazy that we don't have Superman New 52.
No, I mean, outside of that one Morrison Omni, that's it so far. But then again, we've been getting better with Superman collecting, because for a long time it was Superman was not doing well collection wise, but they really have made up for that the last few years. So
yeah, they've been on a roll for sure.
Yeah.
Well, my number 7 is the same one that you gifted to me. It's Contagion Aftermath. So that might be a hint at another one of my votes, but that would go right before No Man's Land.
Yeah,
And Contagion Aftermath are pretty important to No Man's Land, I think, like what happens in that story. So I think
right.
that'd be a fantastic gap filler.
Yeah, and I picked Aftermath specifically because I figured that Aftermath would be like a less likely thing. So I figured like the more votes, the better.
Nice.
Mhm.
So what's your 6?
You mean my 7?
Are we on 7? Did you do 7? 7, yeah, sorry.
I didn't do 7. My number 7 is Red Hood Outlaw. So this is by Scott Lobdell. This would be the second half of the Rebirth run. I put this a little lower because the other part is coming up sooner. So yeah,
Nice.
a bit lower there.
I know Scott Lobdell from X-Men fame in like
Yes.
93, 4, 5, kind of that area. I didn't know that he was still writing as recently as that run. That's cool.
Oh yeah. I mean, it ended like a while back. It was like the last of it ended in like 2020. But yeah, Scott Lobdell, he basically does that entire New 52 all the way from Rebirth. So when I do the reorder, it's going to be a lot easier compared to the Flash. It's not going to be different writers. It's going to be the one guy. So
are you breaking news here, Brian? Do you have a reading order coming out soon?
yes, I do. Yes, eventually when I finish the Absolute stuff and the James Bond one, I'm going to be doing the Red Hood reading order.
Nice.
Red Hood / Jason Todd. So we're going to cover Robin. We're going to cover Red Hood. Cover as much as I can.
I need to pick up that Red Hood. Is it Under the Red Hood? Kind of like when he came back, that OHC?
Yes.
Oh, he's probably got it right there. Yep. Now that would be in, I think that was going to be in one of the Omnis. I don't know if I voted for it, but I think that part of that run was in one of the options for this DC Most Wanted.
I think I saw it, but I was like, I'm good with the hardcover that I got because it just covers that story.
I think it was the Morrison Companion might have had that in there because it's around that time.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you'll say that. Like, hold on to that thought later.
All right, number 6. My number 6 is Contagion. So that would go Contagion, then Contagion Aftermath, then into No Man's Land. Now, I need to explain myself here because people always complain that people vote for Batman, like, oh, there's too many Batman Omnis. And that's, I mean, true. But if you think about it, until like 3 years ago, whenever No Man's Land, the 3 No Man's Land books came out,
yeah,
we didn't have a lot of post-crisis Batman. We had the Nightfall trilogy and the Morrison trilogy, and that was it. And then we eventually got Paul Dini, and then since then we've gotten Murderer, Fugitive, and War Games. But there's still a lot of gaps to fill in there, and they're on my list.
Yeah. The one thing that I noticed that's always weird about Batman is that Batman, obviously, you get a lot, but it seems like they just pick randomly of what they want to print. Like, for example, if you would have told me that, like, Scott Snyder's New 52 Batman would have been one of the later New 52 Omnis, I would not have believed you.
Yeah. All right. What's your number 6 there, Bri?
My number 6 is Green Arrow by Judd Winnick, which is basically what this would be is the Archer's Quest Omni that came out. This would basically be volume 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who wrote the Archer Quest one?
The Archer's Quest is full of different people. So it starts with Kevin Smith's run.
Yeah, Kevin Smith.
Yeah, it starts with Kevin Smith, and then it has a story by Brad Meltzer, as well as a crossover with Green Lantern, and then it starts Judd Winnick's run.
Nice.
So we started Judd Winnick's run, so this would be the continuation of it.
Well, I think you've told me based on like I like the underbelly of DC, the Question, Resurrection Man, Batman, Hellblazer, Swamp Thing, that kind of stuff. And I think you told me that I should read the Longbow Hunters. So I'm on the lookout for those. Those are beasts. Those are like 1,200, 1,300 page books.
Yeah, those guys are big.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is Judd. This is more of the modern stuff. The stuff I told you about. This is more like 80s. This stuff here is more like early 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Brian. We're on to number 5, so we're halfway through the list. My number 5 is Swamp Thing by Rick Veitch. Now, I did not vote for Swamp Thing by Alan Moore because it's almost been guaranteed to us.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm super excited for that. That's a day one purchase.
Yeah.
But the Rick Veitch run would fill the gap between Alan Moore and Nancy Collins, who her run is widely acclaimed. So it'd be really cool to have Alan Moore, Veitch, Collins on the shelf right next to each other. That's my number 5.
Yeah, that's perfect. More Swamp Thing, the better.
Absolutely. What's your 5?
All right, so my number 5. I know everyone's wondering, like, Brian, where is he? Why is he not on your list yet? Well, here he is. Number 5 is the Flash Fastest Man Alive era. So what this would be is that era. If you've seen the reorder, episode 7 and 8, where I had to go for all those issues and trades, it would be that.
Is that
era? Like,
is this before Wade?
This is after Wade. This is after Wade. This is after John. So this is after John's first run before Barry comes back.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. This is around when Bart was the Flash. It's that era.
Ah, Bart Flash.
Yes.
Not Bart Simpson.
Nope, not Bart Simpson.
All right. Well, yeah, I was wondering where the heck the Flash was, but glad we got him. Number 4. I voted for, and I'm surprised that we haven't got this in Omnibus yet, because I know it wasn't a Vertigo title originally, but it finished off as a Vertigo title, and it's really one of the only major selling Vertigo titles that we don't have in Omnibus form or oversized. Is Transmetropolitan.
Oh, nice.
And hopefully, I think the way I've got it mapped, it would be a big one. Hopefully they do it in 2, and they've kind of done that with, like, Preacher, they did it in 2. Scalped, they did it in 2 more manageable sized omnibuses. So hopefully we'd get like a Transmetro 1 and 2. I'd buy those.
Right. Yeah, I've noticed that too. I noticed lately they kind of like scaled back a bit. Like, even for example, like I think like that those Green Lantern Robert Venditti, obviously they probably could have done it in 1, but I think they only did it in 2 because of all the crossovers. But yeah, I've been noticing that they've been doing more skinnier ones to break it into 2, which that depends on your preference. I know you like that.
Yeah. I think hot take, omnibuses should max out at like 800 pages.
That's fair.
I can hold that on my lap. I can carry that around town.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, what's your 4?
My 4 is, speaking of Green Lantern, Green Lantern's the Rebirth era.
Nice.
So what this is that this is during DC Rebirth. There was another book with Hal and all the other guys that Robert Venditti wrote called Hal Jordan's Green Lantern Corps. Green Lanterns is the book that focuses on Jessica Cruz's time in Baz, and they're taking over the Earth portion. So while the other guys are in space, they're staying on Earth. They're part of the Justice League. As the two of them, basically, it's kind of like a buddy cop situation where they're both rookie lanterns and they're both figuring out how to work it out together and all that. It's a really, really great book.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. It's a good pick. Who'd win in a fight? Green Lantern or Silver Surfer? I think that guy takes it.
But yeah.
All right, we're on to number 3. We're on the bottom 3.
Yep.
So I told you there's gonna be a lot of Batman in mine. My number 3 is Batman Post-Crisis, for obvious reasons. I don't know exactly where this starts, but it would be, man, I don't even know. I don't know what issue it was. I should have taken better notes, but Post-Crisis, I'm a big Post-Crisis guy.
It probably would be somewhere around 393, 394, because I know year 1 is around the 400s.
Yeah, like 401 through 404, I think. So yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, and then the post-crisis Jason stuff is around like after like year 1, like 406, 407. So.
Yeah, so I wonder if this would be like the Caped Crusader and the Dark Knight Detective stuff.
That would be, yeah.
Yeah, and so this would be, if they did, this would be 2 omnibuses.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, what's your 3?
Batman Detective. My number 3 is the donation that you gave me is The Flash by William Messer-Loebs, Volume 2.
Nice.
Admittedly, I want this more for the gap filling than for the content itself, but still really do want it. So that's why I put it up as high as I did.
Well, if I remember correctly, you liked Mesner-Loebs 1, right? That stuff?
Yes.
Does it just kind of trail off a little bit?
It admittedly the beginning is not so great. It does pick up later. Like the second volume, I think is probably a little better, but I've always just been like it's a so-so run. Like, I think the best way I could put it is that if I was in the mood to read The Flash, it wouldn't be like the first run I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got to have the gap filler.
Yeah, you got to have the gap filler.
Got to have the gap filler.
Yes.
All right, number 2. I told you there's going to be a lot of Batman in mine. Nightfall Aftermath. So I love Nightfall, and I don't know if you can see it over here. I've got it's over there. I've got custom dust jackets because they're the most hideous dust jackets in the history of omnibuses.
Yeah,
But
I saw this.
they're pretty bad.
Yeah.
But it ends really strong with Prodigal, and then what's the other story that's at the end of that? I forget, but it ends really strong, really cool, and it'd just be great to pick that up. And then I think, I'm not positive, but if you have that, then Contagion Aftermath, there might be no gaps. There might be a gap right after whatever Nightfall Aftermath is. There might be a second book, but I'd love to continue on in that story with Batman.
Yeah, you basically have the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. All right, what's Brian's number 2?
Number 2 is we're going back to Red Hood. It's Red Hood New 52 Volume 2. What this would collect is this would collect the rest of the New 52 run, because believe it or not, the first Omni came out in 2018 and was reprinted again in 2025. And I thought, okay, you're reprinting it, but still no announcement for Volume 2. Like, where is this? And also, this would also have the first half of the Rebirth stuff as well. All mostly by Scott Lobdell. There's one arc written by James Tidy, but outside of that, yeah, it's all Scott Lobdell.
Awesome. All right. So you're a big. So where does Red Hood land on your list, or Jason Todd, of like favorite characters?
Number 3. He's behind Superman.
3.
Yeah.
Soups is 2, I assume. Flash 1.
Yeah, Flash 1.
All right. Before we get to number 1, let's do some honorable mentions.
Yes.
Things that didn't make our list but almost did. And this is and in here I'll include my mistake. I was so excited. I watched Omar's stream, and I was like, I gotta get in. And I did it, and I forgot one that probably would have honestly taken the place of a Batman. Might have taken the place of like Batman Post Crisis.
Yeah.
But the first honorable mention was Hellblazer. They just called it number 5 and number 6. And the reason they didn't make the list was because I've got Delano 1 and 2. I still need to buy Ennis, and then there's one after that. I think is that the Paul Jenkins one, and I've just got so much to read of that before I even get to whatever volume 5 and 6 would be.
Right
to me this time. So those didn't make the cut, and then the one that it's an honorable mention because I just totally forgot about it. And you mentioned it to me after we were texting, and you're like, "What about Animal Man?" And I was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah,
I forgot about Animal Man. So Animal Man, the Vertigo years, which I think would complete that first run of Animal Man, and then there was no Animal Man until Lemire took it over in New 52. But it's done by, who's it done by? Is it Delano? I think it's Jamie Delano.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's 50 issues in that first run.
Yeah.
So I think 20. Yeah, I think it would, and then there's some extra stuff in volume 2. So I think it would finish off that first run of Animal Man.
Right.
So in an unfortunate honorable mention, should have been my number 3 pick.
Yeah. It's funny too. It was like after that I did my voting, and after I did it, I felt like, oh crap, that should have been what I should have donated to Kevin. I should have just picked out of instead of Batman.
Oh, so bummed out. Yeah. All right. What are your honorable mentions?
All right, so I actually have 2. I put Flash Golden Age. Not something like I really need or want, but it would just be like, if they did it, cool. But I'm not like really like begging for it,
Yeah.
Yeah, because Golden Age is hard for me to like read.
Do you have those? You have those in what's that? It's not trade paperback. Don't you have like premiere editions or something like that?
I have like one like hardcover. It's like an old like DC archive that has like the first
archives
issues. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I got it here somewhere actually. Yeah, it's in the corner there.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's the other one?
Then the other one is the Superman post Triangle era, which is the like mid 2000s. So like the
how many triangles will there be?
It's probably a lot. Probably at least like 6.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because what it is like the whole. Do you know what the Triangle Era is, or what it means?
Yeah, there were 3 Superman titles. It was kind of like when there were 3 Spider-Man, 4 titles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so they're in reading order.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And
so,
do you own the first triangles, the 1 and 2?
I don't have those yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Well, Brian, I will say that if you wanted to get those, you could go to Panelbound Comics and use code Omnibuds for life, and that'll save you $2.
Oh my God, I may have to do that.
You might have to.
All right.
All right, honorable mentions are done. So drum roll. Maybe I can find a drum roll effect when I'm editing this. My number 1 pick, I'm shocked. Another one that I'm shocked that we haven't gotten yet. Legends of the Dark Knight. So Legends of the Dark Knight was somewhere I think it started in the late 80s, maybe the early 90s, but it was essentially like a look back, and there were early stories of early Batman, Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually have mapped a custom omnibus that I haven't had printed, but if we don't get this, I eventually will. And it has year 1, and then it has The Man Who Laughs, and then the Matt Wagner stories, and then the first like 3 stories from Legends of the Dark Knight.
Okay.
I think that would be a perfect mapping, but I don't think we'll ever get that. But I think we will get Legends of the Dark Knight, and that'd be a day 1 purchase. I love those stories. They're fantastic.
Yeah, I honestly might get that just for Venom alone, because Venom's like one of my all-time favorite Batman stories.
Oh, I love the art.
Yeah, so good.
All right, Brian, you're our final number 1.
All right, my number 1 has actually been my number 1 for maybe the last like 3 or 4 years. It's the Flash Bronze Age / by Cary Bates.
Flash, Cary Bates.
Yep. So that would basically be the whole Bronze Age from like the 70s all the way till the mid 80s when he dies.
So would this go? This would be like right before Crisis on Infinite Earths.
This would be before Crisis. Yeah, this would be all before that.
And then Crisis happens.
Yeah.
And then then Mesner Loeb?
Yeah, Mike Baron and then Mesner Loeb. Mike Baron did the like 12. So
okay.
Yeah. Mesner Loeb. Yeah.
Bronze Age at number. I didn't pick you for a Bronze Age guy.
I really like the Bronze Age because I like that it's kind of got this like nice flow of like it's still kind of goofy like the Silver Age, but it also is a little more deep and dark, kind of like the art stuff. It's a nice blend of the two.
Yeah. Well, what people think of like, the comics got more serious and a little darker and just grounded in the 80s actually started in kind of like the late 70s. So
right.
And DC was ahead of Marvel in that. So I can see that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like I said, I think one of the best examples I can give you of how much I love that era and why I like it for that reason is like the I remember like reading like one like Batman story that involves like a bunch of like finding like dead bodies in like a dumpster, but yeah, he's still in like the bright blue costume with like the yellow oval and everything, just to show like how mixture of the two elements there are.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's our top 10 picks. Let us know down in the comments what you picked. Let me know down in the comments if I picked too many Batman books or the wrong Batman books.
Yeah.
And then rake Brian over the coals for not putting more Flash. I thought you'd have at least 5 Flash in your top 10.
Well, here's the thing. I wanted to make my list a little more varied. And also there were a couple where I was like for example, the stuff like Post Williamson, like Adams and Spurrier, they're going to happen. So I feel like I needed to vote for them.
And I know that Spurrier stuff's your favorite.
Oh yeah. Oh, so much. Can't wait for it. Thank God it'll only be one.
All right, everyone. Well, thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you on the next Omnibuds Cafe video.
See you guys.
If you're looking for great deals on collected edition comics or manga, we recommend shopping at panelboundcomics.com. They offer free shipping on orders over $30, plus bundle discounts to help you save even more. And if you're shopping from Europe or the UK, comicsbugle.com offers free EU shipping and a rewards program for regular buyers. Don't forget to use our discount codes at checkout.